It was a day of taking in Major League Baseball. The Mariners take first place from the Astros. The Guardians take a wild card spot, and the Nationals took some hope from the New York Mets. Let's talk about it.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into MLB Game Night, where we cover every single game, every single night, as only the Locked On Podcast Network can do it. I'm your host, Lindsey Crosby, host of the Locked On Braves postcast over on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. That fellow over there, Steve Lennox, host of the Locked On Red Sox postcast. Catch him on the X at Lennox on Baseball. Steve, ton of stuff to get to today. Whether it's your Red Sox managing to hold on, some Central teams losing, the Tigers, the Cubs, the Guardians, not only sweeping, but dominating in a doubleheader. But before we get to that, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. That is enough of boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Go to 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. Steve, I want to start off in Houston. Mariners at Astros, and the Mariners get up to a 6-0 lead and hold on despite some late fireworks from Jeremy Pena, the Astros. Here is Ty Dane Gonzalez from Locked On Mariners, all about the fact that Seattle is now in first place.
Mariners fan for really any period of time, you know that this was the moment. This is Ty Dane Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast here. What I mean by that is this was the moment that we have seen so many times, and it's come in so many different shapes and forms, where you were going to get your heart ripped out of your chest and watch it be torn into a million pieces. The Mariners were up 6-0 in this one. It seemed like they were cruising to a series victory. All hope seemingly had been lost in that stadium and in that Astros dugout. The Mariners were beating the brakes off of them. And then Dan Wilson just got way too cute with using Carlos Vargas and leaving him in that game. And sure enough, he gives up a grand slam to Jeremy Pena to let the Astros back into this thing. And we all know the Astros are inevitable, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they put more pressure on in the 8th. You survived that. They put more pressure on in the 9th. And Carlos Correa hits that ball into shallow right field. And you go, there it is. It's about to be 6-5. They're going to have at least runners probably on the corners, maybe even second and third, depending on what happens with the throw and all that. And here comes Victor Robles flying out of the side of my screen to save the day. I'm still in awe. I still can't believe it. I can't believe that something that good could happen to us as Mariners fans. What a freaking game. And the Mariners are in the driver's seat now to win the American League West for the first time since 2001. We'll see if they can get a sweep. Colby and I are about to record and talk about this one on the Locked On Mariners podcast. Hope to see you there. Peace.
You definitely can't miss the Locked On Mariners podcast today. That was theatric. I'm glad we went on that journey together. I got to ask you, Steve,
years of disappointment in that recap from Ty.
Oh my gosh.
Years.
Like the passion was there. Like those feelings were real. He was speaking from a place of experience about getting your heart ripped out there. Cal Raleigh hits a home run. It's 57th. Do we really think this is the year the Mariners can actually do it and win the division? You heard him say 24 years.
Yeah. And I mean, you and I went off last night after we were done with the show, and we were talking about that 2001 Mariners team. I mean, that's a long time ago. I mean, they make a deep run. They get to the World Series for the first time in franchise history. Ken Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson, Jay Buhner, throw them out there because they're all going to want to be a part of this in some way. I love the group right now. I love what they did at the deadline. I'm in a lot of ways, I'm pulling for them. Take the fan hat out, and right now I'm on the Mariners bandwagon. I don't know if that's good for them or not, but if they get to the World Series, I'll be watching. You'll be watching.
Definitely. It's the pitching's really good. Like tomorrow,
Yeah.
Logan Gilbert versus Jason Alexander. That's on ESPN, by the way. So that's the primetime game for everybody there. I enjoy watching the Seattle team. I want to see what Cal Raleigh can do. I'm really curious about the MVP award as well. So we'll see what happens there.
Right.
Okay. Guardians played a doubleheader in Minnesota today. And I'm sure it's happened. Like I'm positive this has happened, but I've never like covered a doubleheader where the same team got shutouts in both games. But that's what they did. Here's Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians, all about how to know if the Guardians are going to win that day.
To make a simple flow chart for you about Cleveland Guardians baseball. Did the Cleveland Guardians win today? Is it a day that ends in Y? If yes, they won. The Guardians sweep a doubleheader. The madness continues 10 in a row, and they continue to set all kinds of franchise records, tie some franchise best records, and just do some literally absurd things at this point. Justin Latta here from Locked On Guardians. You've heard my voice a lot today, but there's a lot to talk about. Logan Allen, career-high 8 innings, shutout innings. The Guardians shut the Twins out 14-0 between two doubleheaders, the games in this doubleheader. The Guardians got 2 runs off Bailey Ober to start the 5th inning, a pitcher they've historically struggled against. Jose Ramirez beats out an infield single with 2 outs, and then 4 more runs score because of it. The floodgates opened. The Guardians took control of the game and won that game. The 2017 team will forever be remembered as one of the best regular season teams in baseball in franchise history, the 22-game winning streak. The last time the Guardians won 10 games in a row was 2017, and they just did it tonight. I've never looked up if a team has ever lost 10 in a row in a year and won 10 in a row in a year. I never would have thought to look it up because it doesn't make sense that would happen. But that's what the Guardians are doing right now, and their starting pitchers haven't allowed more than 4 runs this entire 15-game stretch. That's never happened in the history of franchise. Jeez. They've only one time they gave up 4 runs in this stretch. The Astros are losing, the Tigers are lost already, and the Guardians are going for 11 in a row on Sunday and a chance at the division lead. Oh, and Daniel Espino throwing 99-mile-an-hour gas in AAA in his first game back since 2022. We are going to have so much to talk about on Sunday on Locked On Guardians. You better be there for all of it.
I'm honestly going to be there. Like, I'm an NL guy. I'm a Braves guy. I'm going to be there because this team just seems like they've won 14 to 15 games. They've won 10 in a row. I'm sorry, 15 to 16. They've won 10 in a row. And 5 of those games in the 16-game stretch are shutouts. Like, this is peaking at the right time. Is this sustainable into the postseason?
We're 10 days away? So yeah, I would say so.
Roughly, yeah.
You just keep going the way they're going right now. I mean, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday against the Tigers. I mean, that's going to be. I mean, it's just amazing right of where they're at right now. Yeah. I mean, we're getting back to back. We got Mariners, Astros. Mariners have a chance for a sweep. Right now, they're 2 up in the division, and then we have Tigers and Guardians. Hey, the schedule makers, you've made up for no Dodgers, Padres. For the final month of September, 6 weeks of the regular season. I forgive you now because we have this over the final, the final week next to final weekend, and then into the final week of the regular season.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen 2 9-inning games in a doubleheader with a combination of 4 pitchers used.
Yeah.
Slade Sassoni goes 7 in game 1. Yeah. He'll be out against the last 2, and then Logan Allen goes 8. Zach Kent gets the 9th, and I'm like, my goodness, you gave most of the pitching staff the day off. That's in a doubleheader today. That's wild.
Logan to Slade. Hey, 7 scoreless. Watch me. 8 scoreless.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah.
Joey Cantillo versus Simeon Woods Richardson on Sunday. All right, Nationals at Mets. I'm not even before we even talk about what happened. You got to listen to Chris Schubert from the Locked On Mets postcast before I even tell you about this game. Just let him talk about it first.
Excusable loss for the Mets in the second game of their series with the Washington Nationals. No. It's not Cedric Mullins' fault. The Mets lose this game because of what happened in the 2 innings previously. If not for leaving the bases loaded with 1 out in the 9th, and if not for getting a 0 in the top of the 10th and then not scoring in the bottom part, if the Mets score in either of those 2 innings, we don't get to the 11th. We don't get to Cedric Mullins misplaying that ball in center field that led to a 2-run inside the park home run. The Mets rally back in this one. Another day where they play extremely sloppy, but they battle back. They rally back and tie the game up at 3, but then they let 2 golden opportunities to steal this game away in the 9th and the 10th slip away. And unfortunately, not the time of year to be playing sloppy and to allow games to slip away. The Mets in danger of having their lead down to as little as 1 game for that 3rd and final playoff spot, and it puts them in a very tough position where it feels like Sunday's game against Washington, it's about as must-win as it can get.
How much of that 11th inning is Cedric Mullins misplaying the ball off the wall for the inside the park home run? And how much of that was Juan Soto not getting over to try and back up Mullins?
Yeah. Can we give equal blame? Because you have to know how to play the outfield and that, how the outfield well in that situation if you're Mullins. You know, the ball, you've got to be able to play the carom. But Soto, I mean, he tied it up in the 9th inning, but the great season that Juan Soto has, you can come up with a lot of those instances where he's a spectator. And he struck out looking to end the game. So he was a spectator caught watching to end the game. So I would give equal blame. But Mullins, he sort of starts that, and that's a bad loss. You're down 3-0. You get 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, and you can't win it.
Yeah.
That's bad.
And
they've had plenty of bad losses of late.
They absolutely had. It's you know what? I'm a Braves guy. I don't hate the losses there. All right. Giants at Dodgers. Dodgers win this one 7-5. Shohei Ohtani hits his 53rd home run. I know that he didn't want to steal as much this year now that he is back to pitching. But if you look at the totals from year over year, it is amazing how many less stolen bases Shohei Ohtani has this year than last year. Kind of blows my mind. But the big story to me, yes, there was 4 home runs from the Dodgers. Max Muncy got one. Conforto, signs of life there. Tommy Edman got one. But the big thing for me is the pitching. Giants hitters have struck out 40 times in the first 3 games of this series.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like between the Padres, they beat the White Sox, kind of playing with their food a little bit, and the Dodgers pitching just being really good and the Giants hitters being bad. Feels like Dodgers are going to run away with the West. They got magic numbers, I think, 3 now at this point.
Yes. Yeah, down to 3. And it's going to be their 12th division title in the last 13 years. They're in the postseason for the 13th straight year as well. You mentioned Shohei on the broadcast. They sort of led into that home run that he hit because he's scored 140 or 141 runs now. And they said, well, he's going to hit a couple more home runs here in this stretch. So he's going to score, at least 2 or 3 or 4 more runs all on his own. Boom, home run. And there you go. You got another tally on the board as well. He's just had another phenomenal season.
Yeah, it's been absolutely wild. And then obviously he's also back on the mound and has an ERA of, I think it's like 3 and 3.25 right now. So Shohei may be back. All right, when we come back from break, we're going to do my Braves. We're going to do your Red Sox and kind of how those games impacted the divisional race. We'll do and the wild card race. We'll do that next right here on MLB Game Night. This episode's brought to you by Zippix Toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine or caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings and that hand-to-mouth habit without smoking. Zippix can also be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. It's available in 6 great flavors with both 2 milligram and 3 milligram nicotine options. And if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer. MLB Game Night is the main reason that I like to use these. I can sit here, watch the late games with an energy toothpick. Gives me energy without the jitters. And there's tons of great flavors like bourbon or cinnamon spearmint or even peppermint watermelon. So go to zippixtoothpicks.com, ZIPPIX toothpicks.com. Use code LOCKED ON for 10% off your first order. Now, must be 21 or older to order. And a warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. But that's zippixtoothpicks.com, promo code LOCKED ON. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix Toothpicks. All right, so my Braves went to Detroit, take on the Tigers, came from behind to beat the Tigers 6-5, behind 3 home runs all of them from rookies. Nacho Alvarez had his first 2 of the year. Drake Baldwin had one as well. And Atlanta did that thing. They had 3 hits going into the 9th inning. All 3 were solo shots. They put up 4 singles and 2 runs in the 9th to take down the Tigers 6-5. Came back and got the lead there. I think my question here for you is the Tigers they've lost, I think it's 5 in a row. They've lost 8 of 9, and they're 7-17 in their last 24 games. Do the Guardians take this division? I mean, I know we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. Is it just the winner of next week's series wins this, or is there a chance the Tigers can hold on to it no matter what happens next week?
Well, what happens on Sunday? Let's see what happens there, because it could be even going into the series, which would be huge. And again, I think you set it up just like we set up Seattle and Houston. They were tied at the start of the series. Mariners have taken the first 2, and they're 2 up in the division. So it's, Sunday has sort of a play on this. If your Braves take care of business and they help out the Guardians, do we really think the Guardians can't finish off the Twins on Sunday? I mean, we need to see the Twins get in the run column before we have any confidence in them salvaging the final game of that series.
True. The Sunday pitching matchup on that one, by the way, it's a battle of collegiate Tigers. Spencer Strider, Clemson Tiger versus Casey Mize, Auburn Tiger, facing off on Sunday. All right, your Red Sox down in Tampa Bay, not in Tampa Bay, that's a body of water, down in the city of Tampa, taking on the Rays. A lot of runs scored in the 9th. Shout out Trevor Story for that. 6-3 win in this one.
Yeah, Trevor Story RBI single, broke the 3-3 tie, his 95th RBI in the season. He might get to 100. Kyle Harrison was a story. Left the game with a 3-1 lead after 6 innings of 1-run baseball. Justin Wilson gave up 2 runs in the 7th. So Harrison, a no decision. But the Red Sox do pick up the victory. They've owned this season series now. 10-2 on the season against the Rays. Lindsey, Rays 26 runs in their 2 victories. Those were before the All-Star break early on in the season. 26 runs in their 2 victories against the Red Sox this season. 26 runs total in their 10 losses against the Red Sox.
What a stat. Jeez. That's baseball, Susan. That's baseball. Yes. All right, let's move from the Southeast to the Midwest. Brewers at Cardinals. Brewers win this one 3-2. I'm kind of not shocked. They seem to always win. And that's kind of the sentiment you should have listening to Chuck Freeman from Locked On Brewers as well.
Well, we've seen this ending for a movie for the 2025 Brewers before. Get to extra innings and find a way to get the job done. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Brewers get a RBI single with 2 outs from Bryce Terang in the top half of the 10th inning. Bryce Terang should be an MVP candidate, in my opinion. Plays Gold Glove second base. He's going to hit 20 home runs on the season. Comes up with so many big hits. Does everything for this team, yet he won't get a single vote. I get it. And then the Brewers in the bottom of the 10th inning, the Cardinals give the Brewers a huge gift. They somehow run into a double play with a runner at second base. I don't get it. I don't know what Lars Nootbaar was thinking trying to take off from third, but thank you very much. The magic number is now 1. Tomorrow the Brewers will get it done, right? I mean, the Brewers are going to find a way to clinch this thing on Sunday. The Cubs can't get out of their own way in Cincinnati, and the Brewers, they come back and they get the win in St. Louis on Saturday night. We'll talk to you Sunday night with the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
You put the question in our rundown here. Do we think the Brewers can get to 100 wins? They've got 95, leads baseball, obviously. 7 games left. Can they go 5-2? Because nobody hit 100 wins last year. Dodgers capped at 98. We haven't had a 100-win team since 23. So is this the year, and is it the Brewers that do it?
I feel like, as what Chuck said, the magic number to clinch the division is down to 1. Everyone's contributed this year. So even if Pat Murphy says, hey, I'm going to give some guys some time off here, we're going to tinker with the pitching, get it set up for the postseason. They still want to keep those guys fresh, but everyone contributes. So I do think it's possible, because Chuck has said time and time again, we know you can't count them out. And I think the closer they get, they'll say, you know what, let's try to hit that century mark.
Yeah. One of the big problems I think they have is they face the Padres and the Reds, both teams that are still in this on-card race. So I think they don't have the luxury of setting a rotation. Like the Padres might be able to, but the Reds have to push just to get in. They're one game behind the Mets right now. Although the Mets very well could lose some of these games and fall out. I still think it'll happen. Speaking of the Reds, they hosted the Cubs in a Great American Ballpark, Great American Small Park, if you want to be derogatory about it. They picked up 3 more home runs in the series, beat the Cubs 6-3. We're going to hear from Sam Olber with Locked on Cubs in just a minute, but first I want to let you get some info from Jeff Carr from Locked on Reds, because he started to get a little bit accustomed to all of these wins.
I just want to thank the long ball and the New York Mets for what I'm about to say.
That's the
But
reason
the
I want to play it.
Cincinnati Reds are 1 game out of a playoff spot. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked on Reds podcast. And oh, by the way, the Reds have the tiebreaker with the New York Mets. So if they tie them, they go to the playoffs, not the Mets. And they are doing this by hitting the long ball. Who knew? It's crazy, right? Yeah, no, everybody knew, except for, the people making the roster for the Reds. But another great day for Spencer Steer, another home run. Tyler Stevenson goes yard, TJ Friedel goes yard, and you get some good pitching, not great pitching, but good pitching from Zach Littell and a cast of bullpen characters that still included Tony Santillan and Emilio Pagan. It seems like those guys have pitched every other day this season, and most of the time they come through. This has been just a fantastic stretch. They're now 4 games in a row, 5 out of 6. If they win tomorrow, it will tie their season-long winning streak. If they win the next 2, they'll break it. Man, we got a chance for a 4-game sweep of the Cubbies?
Okay. Before we get into this game too much, I want you to hear from Sam from Locked on Cubs, because the tones are significantly different, and then we're going to discuss this, Steve, okay?
Michael Busch hit his 30th home run, the first Cub to hit 30 in a season since 2019, and that was the extent of the highlights pretty much for the Cubs on Saturday. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked on Cubs podcast, and after clinching a postseason berth against the Pirates, the Cubs have lost 3 consecutive games at Cincinnati. First 2 were pretty predictable. I thought they would come out and play a little bit better on Saturday. Assad was okay. Busch hit a home run. McGuire hit a home run, but the Reds are hitting a lot more home runs. And credit this Reds team. They're playing for their playoff lives. They're within a game of the Mets. It's a really fun race down the stretch here, but the Cubs got a job to do. They have to get that first wild card spot, I believe, or it'd be just too detrimental heading into the playoffs. You want to have a little bit of life heading into it. And after this, they play the Mets. So they kind of are playing teams that are postseason hungry right now, and they have to match that and start playing better, because you just don't want to play like this heading into the postseason. Cubs will try and avoid a 4-game sweep at the Great American Ballpark on Sunday.
Reds or Mets for the postseason here, because the Reds get to go to the Pirates after this.
Yep.
And the Mets are playing the Cubs.
Yeah, and they're not going to see Bubba Chandler. We'll talk about him later. Both Sam and Jeff said, hey, the Reds are within a game. Lindsay, you and I have hosted shows in recent weeks where the Reds got it down to a half a game.
Yeah.
And somehow the next day the Mets found a win and the Reds lost. So it got a little breathing room. Now it's down to 1. So Reds are Mets right now. You asked the other day, can you trust the rookie pitchers? 3 of them in the Mets rotation right now. I think I lean towards Cincinnati.
I mean, it's as much as Cincinnati's been right there, it has just not grabbed this playoff spot all year. I feel like they're close enough where it's practically even. You heard Jeff, they have the tiebreaker. And to your point, I just don't know if I can trust these rookie pitchers to do everything and not have a stumble. Because it feels like if you stumble right now, that's where you lose a playoff spot. Like, you have to be practically perfect. And they're not going to do that. And I think that's
if the Reds do complete the series sweep and the Mets somehow lose to the Nationals in the series finale, they're tied, but essentially Cincinnati is up a game.
Yep.
Right.
All right. In just a minute, I want to get to Yankees and the Blue Jays. They were on the road, mixed results there. We'll do that next, right here on MLB Game Night. This episode's brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in, because with football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. I've been playing Price Picks lately. It's a fun way to stay locked in for the season. It's quick, it's easy, and honestly, it's my favorite way to follow along with football when I'm not watching my specific team. So download the Price Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Price Picks. It's good to be right. Also, caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get that boost when you need it. I always stash one in the center console of my car. That way, if I'm driving in the evening, I'm coming back from a baseball game or something, and I'm a little bit tired, I can take a 5-hour energy without needing to stop to use the facilities on the way home. So, enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love, or be bold and try something new. In-store, online at 5hourenergy.com, or at Amazon today. All right, Steve. Yankees at Orioles. Felt like the Yankees just kind of cruised here. They had 3 runs in the first, ended up winning this one 6-1. I don't know what's a bigger deal, that Stanton and Judge are both in their swings really well. They both homered today, or that Carlos Rodon proved that he can be your playoff number 2 with 7 innings of 1-run ball.
I'll take Rodon.
Yeah, kind of feels like that's the bigger thing. Baltimore's held to only 4 hits in this one. Kobe Mayo had an RBI double for the only runs there. Sunday, Cam Schlitter versus Kyle Bradish. Flip side over here, Blue Jays actually lost on the road in Kansas City to the Royals 2-1. Noah Cameron gives up a solo shot in the 7th to Dalton Varsho, but Shane Bieber gives up back-to-back solo shots to Bobby Witt Jr. and Vinny P. That's kind of really all I have on this one. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. The Blue Jays are having a good season. They're in first place still. Yep. They went over 5 runners in scoring position. That happens sometimes.
Remember, Blue Jays lost the opener 20-1 on Friday, lost 2-1 on Saturday. So
this is improvement.
Yes, the Royals have a chance for a series sweep on Sunday.
No, at this pace, the Blue Jays are going to win by 18 runs. If it was 20 and then 2, it's going to be 18 runs. Okay. Phillies in Arizona against the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks actually took this one 4-3. We've got Mark Forzetta from the Phillies postcast. Little bit not thrilled about the way this one went.
Getting shut out in Game 3 against the Dodgers. The Phillies go up against the Diamondbacks in Arizona, and the Bats come back to life. An 8-2 victory for the Phils opens up their 3-game series in Arizona.
He uploaded yesterday's clip. Okay.
There we go.
4-3 loss. Alec Boehm got some runs there. He sold a homer off of Zach Gallen in the 4th. So Phillies were up 3-2. But Gallen didn't give up anything else, goes 7 innings in this one. And James McCann, who they got when they lost they signed him off of Atlanta's minor league AAA squad. RBI double to tie the game at 3 in the bottom of the 6th. And then Ildarmo Vargas got an RBI single to put the Diamondbacks in front and have the margin of victory there. Ranger Suarez versus Eduardo Rodriguez on Sunday. Feels like Phillies have the advantage there simply because Ranger Suarez is one of those underrated quality starters.
Yeah, there's one thing that I caught on social media. Nick Castellanos apparently not happy with his playing time and kind of called Rob Thompson out on it. And Thompson, they went, media does what they do. They went to Thompson to say, hey, Castellanos said this. And, him saying that the door is always open. And Castellanos' comments were interesting. I really don't talk to my manager that often and really feel like no one wants to communicate with me based on playing time. So I'm wondering if that turns into something here.
Yeah, he has a year left on his deal. He probably gets traded somewhere in the offseason. Here's the thing, though. The platoon between him and that platoon is working. You look at their stats.
Yeah.
The platoon's absolutely working in September. All right, couple quick hitters here. A's at Pirates. Pirates win this one 2-0. It is an MLB best 18th shutout for the Pirates. Bubba Chandler, 5 innings, 1 hit, 6 strikeouts. This game, if you're both these pitchers were pace of play enforcers here. 1 hour and 52 minutes.
Yep.
As somebody who sat in a press box watching two teams that are not going to make the postseason, this is the kind of game you love in September.
100%.
Yeah. This is the second time the Pirates have won in the last 14 games. Both of those were Chandler starts. So they're not winning the Skeen starts. They're winning the Chandler starts.
Yeah.
I'll take Padres at White Sox. Padres win this one 7-3. Yu Darvish was an out away from qualifying for a win, 4 2/3 with 2 runs. Jackson Merrill hit a homer, but San Diego just a bunch of offense. 11 hits. Ryan O'Hearn had 3 of them. And they ended up doing enough against a White Sox team that went 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position and left 5 on base.
Marlins able to hold on for a victory in Arlington, 4-3 against the Rangers. They're back to within 5 games of 500. Adam Major, 4 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 relievers, allowing just 1 run to seal the victory for Miami. Troy Johnston, Connor Norby going back-to-back for Miami. Lindsay, that in the 6th inning.
Yep. They have Yuri Perez going on Sunday, so that's a nice development for them if they can get him right. Final game here, Angels at Rockies. We were really short about this yesterday. Angels win this one 3-0. Series is tied at 1 game apiece. Rockies have lost 113 games. But the big news in this one, Mike Trout finally got that elusive 400th career home run. Remember, he had 1 homer in his previous 36 games. So I'm hoping this was a little bit mental, and now that this is past him, he can go back and finish the season strong, maybe with 1 or 2 more, back to being the Mike Trout that we all know and love.
Don't you feel like September 2025, instead of reaching the milestone of 400 career home runs, he should have really been approaching 500?
500, yeah, that's what I was thinking too, is he's missed so much time. He was on that trajectory of, like, he's going to be in that conversation with Ken Griffey Jr. for, like, what if they had stayed healthy, right? Could these have been some of the best power hitters in baseball history had they stayed healthy? So we'll see how Mike Trout can finish the year. And that's all I want for Christmas is a healthy Mike Trout. Baseball is better when he's in it. Any final thoughts from the day that was, Steve?
I'm curious to see if the Mariners can pull off the series sweep, and can the Guardians do the same against the Twins. The way they've won the first 3 games of the series has just been terrific. The doubleheader sweep, not allowing a single run, that just that just adds to the story for the Guardians for 2025.
It absolutely does. This has been MLB Game Night, where we cover every single game, every single night, as only the Locked On Podcast Network can do it. For Steve Lennox, I'm Lindsey Crosby. We'll see you next time.